Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. This week, we are going to try and work off our Breeders' Cup hangover. Where else would you go but beautiful Del Mar by the Sea for opening weekend of the Bing Crosby meet? The pick four starts with race number 6. It finishes in race number 9, and there's not a single stakes race among them. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and my racing analyst. Ray Torado is a little bit tardy or possibly having some internet connection, so I'm going to start off with my good friend from Temecula, California, Joe English. How you doing? And I've missed you. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, we missed you too. Doing okay. Had a pretty productive Breeders' Cup. If anybody watched the show that we did last week, Mr. Torado and I. It's other than that, doing well. Thanks, Rich. How's everything by you?
Not too bad. As a matter of fact, I had a rather productive Breeders' Cup. I'll get to that in just a second. Right, Joe, I do have a question for you. So we're kind of moving towards the end of the year. Do you have a favorite racing day that's left between now and I know you and I think of it as a traditional opening day of racing season that comes the day after Christmas. So do you have a favorite day in between now and
then? If I don't count that day, I'm going to guess there's two. One of them would be the Cigar Mile, which I'm sure we will deal with in a few. I'm not sure if I think it's the Thanksgiving Day weekend at Aqueduct, and that's usually a productive race. And I'm actually a sucker. I actually love racing at the fairgrounds. My tracks I want to go visit. Of course, I want to go back to New Orleans as well. I've always had an affinity for the fairgrounds. So basically opening day, which is usually, I think it probably should be in about a week and a half or so. It's usually the Wednesday or Thursday around Thanksgiving. Those are the 2 days I would say are my two favorites going forward until opening day at Santa Anita.
All right. And you know what? And I do see him. I see his smiling face down there now. So there is Ray Torado, the third broke guy. And Ray joins us there from Staten Island, New York. Ray, Joe was just sharing with us, and I was asking him as we move towards the beginning of the year, do you have a favorite racing day that's left between now and the traditional opening day of racing season, which is the day after Christmas at Santa Anita?
Yes, Thanksgiving weekend, we got over here, we're going to have the 4 highway where they pack on some pounds and some horses on a sprint, 130, 135. Used to be 140, but they kind of lessen up. And also Cigar Mile the same weekend. It'll be a nice card. And also I like New Year's Day at Aqueduct, the Interborough, and we get our free calendar. And Rich, we missed you, and welcome back.
Oh, Ray, well, I missed you dearly, actually. As a matter of fact, I missed both you guys. 2 weeks ago, we weren't on the air, so I wasn't there. And then last week, I missed out as well. I had a little bit of a personal tragedy to take care of. I do feel the need here to recognize our very own Joe English, who caught fire on Breeders' Cup Saturday. He hit 6 out of 13 winners. He racked up a sizable ROI. I was trying to add it up, Joe, and I messed up a little bit earlier today, but it was over $80 on your $2 wagers there for the ROI for you there on Saturday. From a hospital in Hollywood, I was able to combine Joe's picks with just a couple of mine, and I hit rolling pick threes, and I just missed that rare of rare triple pick 3. So thanks, Joe. I appreciate that.
No problem. Good thing somebody made some money off my projections.
Almost a triple pick 3, but if obviously.
Yeah, well, actually, mine was. If I had obviously, if not for Finest City, I had the triple pick 3. I had rolling pick 3s going and just a hammer.
Okay, good.
Share with you guys off the air exactly what happened to me that day. So I'm going to give you guys just a brief weather update. I do work in San Diego, and there is a 0% chance of rain on San Diego. The temperatures are in the high 80s, possibly in the low 90s tomorrow. There are a total of 9 races. There's just one stakes race on tap for Saturday, and it's not even on our pick 4. So let it ride. It's earlier on the card. For tonight, we are focused on the pick 4. It begins in race number 6. It concludes in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. Shall we go ahead and get started?
Let's do it.
Okay, race number 6. Approximate post time is 5:59 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a $25,000 claiming race. They're going 1 mile on the turf. The purse is $29,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite at 7-2 is in post number 8. Buy Me a Bond, trained by Jonathan Wong and ridden by Tyler Bays. Joe, I know it's a letdown from last week, but this is still one of our favorite racetracks. So you are up first on the pick 4. Who do you like in race number 6?
Yeah, letdown really doesn't begin to cover it, Rich. To be honest, I actually like this betting sequence, even though the quality isn't all that. Obviously, it's not Breeders' Cup quality, and like you said, Rich, there's not a stakes among them. But most of the morning line favorites are kind of tepid. 3-1, 7-2. I actually went in race 6. I went with the outside horse, number 11, Horizontally Speaking. Based on the fact that I went back, was able to watch his sprint return down the hill, and normally the horse is not a sprinter, but he actually showed a little bit of quality closing. He was about 7 lengths back at the half-mile pole and didn't get beat all that badly in that race, and he split the field. And generally, I think races like that add a little bit more speed into the horse. And this horse is generally a speed horse to begin with. And I think really based off of that trip, I think he's going to get a nice right outside. I think the horse's name is Motoring Around. I think it's the number 4 horse, who should be the other speed in this race. If the other horse doesn't go, I'm thinking Horizontally Speaking may actually get an easy lead in this spot. He's won twice at Del Mar on the turf, and this is his second time with Norberto Arroyo. He obviously got to know him that first time out. So I think he's got a good shot at 8-1. My second choice would be the 2, Servaro. Basically, it's a jockey trainer angle. Stuart Elliott with Mike Pipey is 4 for 14 with a 4.89 ROI on the turf in the last 5 years. So based on that play and 8-1, I would take that. The horse is coming back fairly quick from running 2 good races. So to me, that's another good sign. I don't think Pipey's a good horseman. He wouldn't run the horse if the horse wasn't ready. It's not like he's a horse a trainer who just says, okay, I'm going to wait until Del Mar. Obviously, this horse is in good form, and he's running back pretty quickly. And the other horse I kind of like a little bit is the 10, Tattenham. He was close to a quick pace in his last spot before he flattened out. He gets blinkers. Kent DeSormo gets back on. Kent DeSormo on the grass has been a good angle lately. And the last time he was on this gelding, the horse ran 3rd at Del Mar. It was his only in-the-money finish at Del Mar. And he's dropping from out of a 32, like I said, dropping out of a 32 into a 25, dropping a level. And like I said, he was close to a fast pace in that last race, and he didn't flatten out all that badly. And he bobbled a little bit coming out of the gate. So I think he's got a little bit of a chance at 9-2. So again, for me, it's 11, Horizontally Speaking, over the 2, Servaro, and the 10, Tattenham would be a B pick for me. 11-2-10. Ray?
Well, yeah, you're right about the. I actually like the race sequences. You can looks like a good promotion of some long shots and have fun with this one. I mean, horse racing is horse racing. You gotta love the game. But actually, yeah, I do like your winning horses. On top, I actually like number 8, Buy Me a Bond. 6-year-old gelding with Tyler Bays and Wong. Trey's the favorite. He runs in the same condition in distance. So he's actually a 10-time turf winner. Runs well at Del Mar. You can see 6 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 5 in the money. He's got attack with speed, so he could sell for slow pace. And Wong's 35% on the claiming train and 26% in routes. Also leading towards number 5, Infinite Magic. Joe Talamo and Diodoro. Drops in class from 32 to 25,000. Also runs well at Del Mar. Looking for his first win for 6 starts, but he got 4 in the money. Ran a winning race last time, I think. So he's probably a little sharp for this one. He'll be a factor in the stretch. Probably needs a pace. I do like the horse 11, Horizontal Speaking. He stays in the same company. He ran off the hill course. And he's 2 for 7 at Del Mar. So like you said, he could be a speed factor in this paceless race. He's 5 for 14. at the distance. And Royal Glatt, the 30%. So I like that horse, your horse. And a long shot to throw in was number 3, Saint Loop. He's for Drain Van Dyke and Delgado. He also stays in the same company. Running also from the hill, the last race. It's the second race of a January layoff, and I can see some backlash in him. I can see Hollywood Park there, so 2012-13. So he's been running against much better way back, but he actually ran 9th by 5 lengths in his last race of a big 9-month layoff, and it wasn't that bad a race. I mean, he was in the race at 22-1. So claimed off a Kanani in first time for Delgado, so he could blow up the top board, and that's what we're looking for, some bombs. So those are my picks there. We got the 8, the 5, 11, and the 3. All right, Rich. This is your track, right by you, Delmar. The surf meets the turf. Right, the turf meets the surf, I'm sorry. What do you get Suntan to make some money?
I was looking. I went down here to look at the profile for these races just to see how the 8 furlong. I seem to remember that this style or the 1 mile turf race here at Del Mar was playing kindly actually to speed. Here, but the numbers actually kind of don't really hold that up. It looks like it's 50-50 proposition. I was looking for somebody who had early pace. I was looking over here at Tatnam, who just doesn't seem to win a lot, unfortunately, and horizontally speaking. So I kind of settled on the 11 just because out of those two, I personally, I guess I will be honest already and tell you that I've been burned on Tatnam a few times. So just to be aware of that. The horse certainly seems like he's got the right numbers. And initially, he would have been my top pick, Ken DeSormo, Bob Hess. They've always been a solid combination in the past. I think that still holds true. I can't remember if I saw that Flavian Pratt had jumped onto another mount or if he's just not in this race. But I do notice that he's on from here. But Hess and DeSormo is not a combination to ignore. It is a solid combination. Again, if you look out here on this page, they usually give you 10 races on any given form and things like that. And so thank God they give you 10 races because that way you can see that the last time the Tatnam ran, it was with some guy named Velasquez riding him at a place called Belmont. So just to give you an idea as to how long it's been since he won. So I did settle on, horizontally speaking, with Mark Blatt and Roberto Arroyo Jr., but I was just looking for speed and playing it for pace in this race and nothing for the closers. I would go 11 over 10, so I'd have the 11 as my top pick, and the 10 underneath.
Rich, Indigo Bow, the number 6, is where Flavian Pratt ends up.
You know, that is interesting, Joe. To see him hop off and go to this one, and look at that, a switch.
The summer.
Right, the switcheroo.
Mm-hmm.
Musical
obviously the horse was Indigo Bow was claimed last time out, so that may have had something to do with the switch.
Yeah.
Maybe they just decided to make a trade. All right, so you've got Rich Hill.
I'll trade you for you.
I've got the 11 over the 10. Joe's got the 11 with the 2 over the 10. And Ray has the 8, the 5, and the 11 over the 3, I believe. Is that right?
Yep.
You got it.
All righty. And I'm going to come back to you guys. All right, we are moving on to race number 7, and this is a claiming race, 16K N3L. They're going 6.5 furlongs on the main track. The purse is $20,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 3 races. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 10. Eddie's Turn, trained by Eddie Truman and ridden by Tyler Bates. Eddie's Turn. I'm not so sure. I do believe it's Mr. Torado's turn. So, Ray, you are up first on number 7.
I had a small opinion in this race, not a strong opinion. But there are a few horses I'm looking at here in this race. As you can see, 6.5 furlongs favors a little bit of speed here. I do wind up on the number 3, Pedro Serrano, with Roberto Arroyo Jr., 5 for Peter Miller, Rockingham Ranch. He was a winner at Del Mar, 32,000. That's 5.5 furlongs. He seems to track well, and they're dropping them from 32 to 14,000. It's a big drop. It's a few classes, and the Royal stays aboard. Also, Bond has here Smokey's Legacy, who's a speed horse, so he might help out Pedro Serrano to stalk him and make a jump on him.
But can he hit the curveball?
I like number 1 Bluegrass Bronco for Flavin Pratt, 6-1. He actually was a good third at a mile at this level. Cuts back to 6.5, which always helps the horse. He drew on the inside, should get a nice trip. Pratt winds up in this one, and he just shows some speed, like you can see there. Satanita at the same level, so he'll be a factor. I like the jockey switch on this race. Number 5, Hi, I'm Jack, Mario Gutierrez and Doug O'Neill. No, it's not. I'll have another. It's Hi, I'm Jack. He was up for third at the same level. Satanita, good race. He stretches out now, no more half a furlong, and he actually was a allowance winner at Del Mar. It must have been a restricted race back in July. So with Tyler Bays that time. So he won. He's a winner at the track, and I like to see that. So those are my horses. I got 3 of them here. The 3, the 1, and the 5. It should be a competitive race. All right, Joe. These horses are never won 3, so they're going for 4. Big claiming.
No, they're going for 3.
Going for 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for 4. Yeah.
No, it's
no 3.
It's not winners of 3. Not winners of 3.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
They've never won 3 races.
Going for 3, all right.
Yeah. I wish. It's funny. I like 2 horses that you mentioned, Ray. I like the 3, Pedro Serrano, and it does. I don't know whether he can hit the curveball or not. I'm assuming he can. And I like the 1 a little bit as well. But actually, on top, I went with, and I'm going to call this. I've invented a new angle, and if you look at the Breeders' Cup PPs, you'll see this. And unfortunately, Rich, I'm going to bring this up again. This horse's name. It's the Finest City angle. If you look at Finest City, she ran 2 turf races before she returned back to dirt and won at the Breeders' Cup. And in the race that she ran before that, she finished 3rd behind 2 horses named Beholder and Stellar Wind, who were pretty good. I'm going back to the 7, Anthony's Got Game. If you can pull up his PPs, he ran 2 turf races since his last win on the main track, which was at 7 furlongs, at non-winning, at the non-winners of 2 lifetime level. But that race was a really good race. I actually had a chance to watch it. He actually didn't necessarily break all that well, but he actually Maldonado. I wish he were actually on the horse. Maldonado got the horse actually to go up inside of horses, get the lead, and he pretty much drew away. One of the horses he beat, Deep Consideration, turned out to be not so bad. The rest of the field wasn't anything spectacular. So obviously we're not talking Beholder and Stellar Wind. But I'm just going back to the race that was the last time that he was on his preferred surface. And now he's gotten 2 races in between that weren't necessarily where he wants to be. He's back on his preferred surface now. He's probably the speed of the speed. He may be on top and going 6.5 furlongs. He's already proven he can win at 7. So I don't think 6.5 furlongs is a problem. And I know Iggy Puglisi rides for Paul Aguirre a lot. So I would take a chance with this horse at 5-1. And as you can see, he's 1 for 1 at Del Mar. So obviously he liked the surface enough to break his maiden here. So I would go with the 7 on top. And I like this horse a lot. 7, 3, and 1 in that order for me. So I'm going with Anthony's Got Game. And I know Rich has got game too. So Rich, what do you have to say about this race?
Again, I'm going to go down here. I just want to take a look at the profile. And again, a 6.5 furlong race in Southern California. What a shocker. 76% of them are being won by horses that are up there close to the lead. Again, this one you're looking for who's going to be up there on the early pace. And unfortunately, in this particular race, it looks like it's the favorite. It looks like it's the chalk. It's Eddie's turn. He's got early pace. He's not a need the lead type. He can actually sit a trip as well. Eddie Truman is a decent trainer, not necessarily a high percentage trainer down here in Southern California, but he did pick up the high percentage jockey. They've got 33. They're very small sample size, but 33% together. Yeah.
I need to interrupt. I'm sorry. Bejarano is not riding for the first week at the meet.
Oh, he's not.
I saw a tweet from Jay Privman, which I thought I had sent to you guys. My understanding, and again, I don't think the replacement is that bad. It's Tyler Bays, just so that you're aware.
Okay.
He hurt his hand 2 days.
Still makes a little bit of a difference, but so I had actually settled on. Unfortunately, I hate it when I do that.
It's still the horse. The jockey can't do that much.
Yeah, it's still the jockey.
It's still the horse.
I was looking for the early pace in this race. He's got a nice outside post. I am comfortable enough with Eddie Truman to go ahead and back his ponies. If I was going to look at a secondary horse, if I had to give myself, a backup pick and things like that, I was kind of torn here. I liked Bluegrass Blanco a lot, the one horse. Been kind of sitting on this horse for a while, waiting for him to kind of come through. And again, I think he might be speed of speed with Flavian Pratt up there and things like that. So I would have put the 1 underneath. I would have gone 10-1, maybe even 1-10, depending on how they break and how they get out of there. But 10-1 for me here in the 7th. I've got Joe with, I started with Ray. I've got Ray with the 3, the 1, and the 5. And I've got Joe with the 7 and the 3. And I think, did you have the 1 as your backup pick there as well?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, and I am coming back to you. And we are getting ready to go on to race number 8 here. And race 8 is an optional claiming 62.5. He's going a mile and a 16th on the turf. The purse is $55,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won $10,000 twice, other than maiden claiming or starter or state bred, which have never won 3 races, or claiming price of $62,500. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite at 3-1 is in post number 9. He Will, trained by Jerry Hollendorfer and ridden by Mike Smith. All right, Joe. The question to you is, Willie.
I'm betting. I don't want to say I'm bet. I guess I am betting against it because that's kind of what we do. That's kind of what racing is. If you remember the Let It Ride movie, there is no racing without betting. So yeah, I'm betting against it. I actually am going with the number 3 horse. First time Flavian Pratt for Crown the Kitten. Second time in Blinkers, 14 of 20 in the exacta. The only thing that I hate about that is that the horse has run second 10 times. But I did at least get a chance to go back and watch his last race, and the horse didn't hang. It's funny because you look at the stretch call being that the horse was third by a neck, and he finished second, beating a length and a half. And you might think, well, if he was third by a neck, why didn't he go by? Well, actually, he did go by the leader. The problem is somebody else went by him. It's not a question of that he hung and the horse that was in front of him is a horse he never got by. He did get by. He just got passed by somebody else. And if you look at that last fraction, that last race, they came home 11-2. So they were going pretty good at the end there. So I like Crown the Kitten at 4-1. Again, first time Flavian Pratt's a pretty good angle. My other horse is the 10. Something's unusual. Another horse who returned coming down the hill and ran actually a really bang-up race to finish third by a half length. I would assume based on that, the horse won't be too far back in this spot. It doesn't necessarily need to have speed, but the horse will be in a striking position. And the horse is 5 of 10 in the trifecta at Del Mar on the grass. It wasn't really a strong opinion for me in this spot. But again, if I had to do it, I'd go 3, Crown the Kitten, with 10, something is unusual. And speaking of something that's not unusual, it's Ray Tirado. Ray, how you doing tonight? And what's your opinion on this 8th race?
All right, they're on the beautiful grass.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I like your horse. My 3rd spot. I'm looking at a little price here. Number 2, Bonds No Oeste. He's 8-1. He should run well on a course that usually favors kind to stalkers and closers. If Stormy Liberal enters, then you have some pace to run at. Same situation. I think Peter Miller is running his horses like a tag team. So I like him for a price. Hobbit Hero. He has speed at this level. Cuts back a little bit. He should be tighter. Second race off the layoff. He could face a little speed pressure from Stormy Liberal and Howdy. The only negative I see is that actually no, not really. Yeah, the Beirano gets off of the horse and he goes to favorite. Actually, Beirano's not riding, so
He's not riding, so.
yeah. So he got off the horse anyway from the beginning. So Thiago's riding. He's not too bad, but I like 7% on the tough. So, but anyways, he'll win once in a while. But at Delmar, this horse likes Delmar, so 2 for 6, 4 on the money. So I'll give him a shot. For Boltus. I like your horse, Joe. Number 3, Crown the Kitten. Flavor Pratt, first time. I thought his distance. Now at this race, he went longer than all this time. His last 2 have been good. Finishes at this level. And Pratt's one of the good tough riders, 20%. So he should benefit from a good solid pace up front. So those are my 3 horses. The 2, the 6, and the 3. So that would be my picks. Rich, what's your opinion on this optional claiming?
Well, I did not have the same advantage that Joe did of going ahead and watching the video, but we actually did settle on the same horse here. So I went with that same combination I went with the last race, that Bob Hess. Then you got Flavian Pratt and Bob Hess in there. Good turf for Crown the Kitten. Closer, got Kitten's Joy in the pedigree. Kind of fits that profile of the East Coast horse who came over. Now, this horse has actually been here for a little while. It's had 3 races in California, so you wonder how long do you give the forgiveness on that. Now, the first one, if you look at that race here in August, is off a little bit of a layoff. And that was that first race in California. And then got sent up to Golden Gate and got put into a kind of a quick race, going a mile and a 16th of the Golden Gate, and then turned around and came back. And that's the race that Joe kind of it's in the post, nipped it with no Retro Royal on there, and Joe already kind of detailed for that one. So I'm thinking the switch to Flavian Pratt, Bob Hess. This is the one. This is the time that Flavian and Hess will go ahead and get this horse to the finish line and win it. And if they can't, I was torn here. And again, hearing what Joe has said now about Bejarano not riding that first week, I still had Hobbit's Hero up here. I was concerned, as you see here. I always kind of try and circle that jockey flip angle. So Bejarano hopping off and going to the 9 initially was a warning sign for me. Hobbit's Hero is a very solid turf horse. He's a 5-year-old. He's been here for a little while. He's 9 for 18 on the turf lifetime. He is 2 for 6 there at Del Mar with 2 second places. He's always up on the lead. So if you're a bettor, Hobbit's Hero is the kind of horse you like to bet because he's always going to get a little bit of excitement in there. And I was torn between him and the horse that I figured that Bejarano had jumped off him for, which is He Will, the Hollendorfer Bejarano horse. And so I had the 3 on top with the 6 and the 9 underneath, which kind of hate to leave Hobbit's Hero out of this pick 4, but if I had to, that would be a sacrifice. Again, going back here and looking at the bias for the track and things like that, just 9% of the time you get wire-to-wire winners, only 33% going to early EP types here in a Southern California track. That's really a rarity, so you do want to look for those closers. So I think I heard Joe had tacked on something unusual who is here on this one, so don't forget about that. I had stayed with Crown the Kitten on top and Stormy Liberals in there. I didn't even mention Stormy Liberals, which just happens to be one of my favorite names for a horse. So in the end, I've got Joe with the 3, or excuse me, I've got Ray with the 2, the 6, and the 3. I've got Joe with the 3 and the 10 for myself. I've got the 3 over the 6 and the 9.
Don't worry, Rich. The 9 has Mike Smith. So you're good.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't fall off too. I guess I didn't fall off too much. Then.
Big Money Mike.
All right, and I ain't coming back one last time to you guys.
You got Big Money Mike.
All right, race number 9 is Maiden Claiming 20,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upwards. They're going 7 furlongs on the main track, and the purse is $17,000. 13 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 10. Zealous Tale, trained by Doug O'Neill and ridden by Norberto Arroyo Jr., 7-2 on the morning line. Ray, no stakes races. The feature was an optional claimer, and the finale is a Maiden Claiming 20,000. Maiden Claiming 20,000. If I look like I'm smiling, it's because I am home, my friend. Go ahead, take us away in the finale.
I actually love it. This is my top racing too. Aqueducts here. Anyway, I did fall in the favorite here. So somebody's got to win this race. Come on.
Boo.
Huh?
Boo, you fall in the favorite. Boo. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yes, don't worry. You just saw my ticket.
Somebody does have to win. You're right. Somebody does have to win this race. You're 100% right.
Somebody's got to win. Zealous Tale. Actually, 7 furlongs. He should stalk the leaders and finish well. Excuse me. He has a big drop down for 75,000 down to 20,000. Second race off left. Somebody will probably claim him anyway. He got 2 races at Del Mar. Actually got a second and a third. So he might actually like the track. He's been supported all 4 races. We call him a money burner. The fact of let's see. It's fine to be on the board. They'll get somebody for the back. So Zealous Tale, number 11. I like Strong Leader, 6-1. Gutierrez and Peter Urton. Congrats on Urton. He won the Breeders' Cup race. He might like the dirt. He drops into claimer. He ran a bullet at Los Alamitos.
Which horse you on? Sorry, which horse you on?
11, Strong Leader.
Oh.
11, down there in the bottom. Yeah, he probably liked the dirt. First time out, he just ran down the hill and brief speed, by half a mile, and just packed it. Now I put him on the dirt, and he ran a bullet on the 113, so I think he'll run second time out, better 22%. So, and also number 7, Foolish to Deceive, Pratt Hollendorfer. He's got to drop it from 40,000 to 20,000 speed. Sometimes, in these races, they just pace and they don't stop. West Point Thoroughbreds, they're pretty familiar throughout the country. Flavin Pratt, actually Hollendorfer claimed them. So first time Hollendorfer, Flavin Pratt. They might go score all the way there in this race. Number 6, Woodstock Memory and Garcia. They remain in the same level. He cuts back to 7 furlongs, so you might like that. Who's the other one? Pat, no. He was favorite last time. Speed. So it's going to be a pretty competitive race. So those are my numbers there, the 10, the 11, 6. If you got money, play all of them. All right, Joe. Main claiming 20,000. You know what? Let's buy one of these horses.
Sure. Yeah. We need, if we're gonna buy a horse, we need to go to Los Alamitos. They sell them for 2,500, not 25,000.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Anyway, I settled on 2 of the horses that you mentioned, Ray. I actually like the 6 Woodstock Memory the most. I think the race 2 back is good enough to get the job done here, and I think the race is actually crying out for somebody who can get 7 furlongs. And I know if you pull up the track profile, my guess is Speed does pretty well at 7 furlongs. I'm just not sure if any of these horses are going to be doing anything other than staggering home in that last furlong. So like I said, I'm looking for somebody who can be a little bit off the pace. And I like the fact that the horse ran a mile last time out and get a little bit more stamina into the horse. Maybe he'll be closer to the pace. Maybe he'll be around 3 lengths off, but I think within 3 lengths he should be okay. Again, 3-year-old geldings, we're not talking world beaters here. And like Rich was saying earlier, this is quite a letdown from the Breeders' Cup last weekend. But the 6 would be my top choice, and the 7, Foolish to Deceive, would be my second choice. And to me, the fact that Flavian Pratt even gets on this horse, and the fact that it wasn't even a claim, the horse was obviously sent to his barn. And I wondered, I'm like, since when does Jerry Hollendorfer want 20 claimers, and since when does Flavian Pratt ride 20 claimers? So I'm thinking maybe they just want to win the training and riding titles respectively, because otherwise I don't know that Jerry Hollendorfer and Flavian Pratt would go near 20 claimers. Meat wasn't important to them. I think they would probably wait and pick, wait, because that 20 claimer is taking up space in his barn that he could probably get a better horse with, maybe something even he has up at Golden Gate. So I'm thinking this horse is going to run a little bit better than he's shown, and he has shown a little bit of speed, and he's dropping back to to one turn. So the horse has a chance to improve. And again, with Pratt, Hollendorfer, my guess is he'd probably be the second choice. He'll probably take the most money, other than the favorite. And maybe even depending, because of the connections, depending on how they do during the day tomorrow, maybe Hollendorfer wins a race or two, maybe Pratt wins a race or two in this Big Four, and they become the hot jockey or the hot trainer for that day. And there'll be people at the end of the day saying, oh, well, Pratt's won 3 races or Hollendorfer's won 2, and he may end up being the favorite in this spot. Again, you can go any number of ways in this race. Based on figures, based on any other kind of handicapping. So I just went too deep in here, 6 and 7. And otherwise, like Ray says, I think the best strategy, if you could, is to buy the race and take them all. But based on our limited funds, I'm only going too deep. So 6-7 for me. Toss it over to somebody who I'm sure. Well, actually, I don't know if he remembers Woodstock, because I think he was old enough to be there. I'm sure he remembers the event itself, but he wasn't there in person. Rich, take it away.
Yeah, no, I was a little torn here. And again, this is the class that I like to handicap the best. This is the bottom of Del Mar. They've been claiming 20,000. They don't get any cheaper than this. The dirt, 7 furlongs. Joe touched on it. It's a tough distance for this particular class. So it's kind of in between that intermediate sprint distance. So I was a little torn. I did go back to the bottom of the summaries again. So 29% are one wire to wire. And you get a whopping, 76% of the races here are won by E and EPP type. So again, I would recommend that you find the ones that can get to the front of the race. In this case, I actually didn't go with either of the top 2 from the early pace in the last race, and went with the next 2 that were right down there, and then threw in the same horse that Joe and Ray have been talking about, I believe, the Foolish to Deceive horse. So I've got the 6 and the 12 as my top 2 horses. This was a little bit tough for me because these are both long-time racers. Gavin Street Hunt is 0 for 8 with 3 second places. It's 2 races back that you want to look for his. So here, in a race where there was some early pace at 7 furlongs, he managed to make the lead here coming into the top of the stretch. He had Chase Boulanger up for that day. He's going with Thiago Pereira today. This is a Richard Baltas horse. And we all know he can train. So finished behind Little Mustard that day, so keep an eye out for Little Mustard. He's on the alternate entry. And there were 12 starters that day, so that was a solid race. And then came back after that, still showing early pace in the race, but stock pace second best. So again, kind of just taking a little bit of a shot here in the finale. And the other one that I liked was the same horse that, again, I've kind of already heard Joe bring up, Woodstock Memory. Jose Valenzuela is a better jockey than he gets credit for. So don't ignore it just because the jockey. And again, looking at these numbers over here and these numbers over here, you can see that this horse has got the early kind of pace. And again, a mile and 7 furlongs, so has shown some class and some distance there. So I've got the 6 and the 12 as my top 2. Underneath, I decided to go with Foolish to Deceive. Deciding that Hollendorfer and Flavian Pratt is just too solid of a combination to ignore. I'd really like to see them on the ticket. It sounds like Joe or Ray are going to put them on there, so I'm kind of happy to hear that you two have those that horse on here. I actually was going to put it underneath, kind of leaning towards what Joe was saying there at the end, which is this is maiden claiming 20,000 dirt, and I was hoping to stay away from what I think might end up being the favorite, even though the morning line favorite looks a little bit. I've got 6, 12 over 7. Ray's got 10, 11, and 6, and Joe's got 6 and 7. And we are ready to go ahead and start creating our pick 4 tickets.
Yeah, and Rich, just so that you know, the only scratch in the pick four sequence is in this race, so I expect Little Mustard to be able to run if he wants to. I believe it was the number 9. Frosted Boss is the only horse that's scratched out of the sequence, so I do expect the 13 Little Mustard to get in again if he wants to run.
All right, so who's got an interesting story from Breeders' Cup weekend that they'd like to share with the audience? Many stories that they'd like to share.
Share it with us too. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you, Rich. I'm sorry. I thought you had a story.
Let's see. I will, Joe. I will tell you that while I was in that I was actually in the hospital last week. So for those of you who sent any scouts to me, I apologize for not responding and things like that. Me and my family were in the hospital. My son did have surgery. And while I was there on Saturday, as you heard, my friend Joe was he was just giving out winners, giving free money out all day long. And I was sitting in the hospital. I was taking advantage of the TVG free promotions. I was betting $15 to win on a lot of the shots. Things like the Queen's Thorn, which was an 8-1 winner, if I'm not mistaken. You gave out. So I had that one at $15 to win. I think, Joe, you also gave me there was another one that was in there. There was another Euro that you had that was in there. Didn't you have? I believe you had Highland Reel as well, didn't you?
Highland Reel, yes.
You had Highland Reel, so that was a 4-1 winner for us. That was all.
Yeah, Highland Reel, and of course my and what I tweeted out was my best bet of the weekend was Classic Empire, who hung on to win, beating Not This Time, and they were well clear of the rest of the field. And he paid $11. So I was happy. I was happy about New Money Honey on Friday. It was a very productive weekend. I just hope I'm as hot. I just like to stay that hot for even for another week. Just. But I know the quality of the horses that we're handicapping is not quite the same, and I don't necessarily. Last weekend I didn't necessarily have to worry about anything being prepped. The Breeders' Cup being a prep for something else. Or that no, they're really not. The Breeders' Cup isn't the target. Something else. Obviously, they were all there to win. Just being at the Breeders' Cup was so much fun. I got to see. You name the trainer, he was there. Chad Brown, Bob Baffert, Pletcher. Like I said, Aidan O'Brien. Anybody who was anybody was there. I remember I was talking to Ray before on my phone the night before, and I took about 300 pictures that day on my phone. Just of the horses themselves, of the trainers, and I had sent you guys the effort, and he autographed my program, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So
good horses.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Well, it was funny. Obviously, it was before Arrogant happened to win the Classic, but it was right after Drafong had won the sprint, and I actually got, like I said, that's the page. He actually signed on Drafong's name on my program, so it was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, like I said, anybody who was anybody was there, and it was an awesome day. And I really am looking forward to Del Mar next year. Like I said, like I tweeted to Ray, I was just realize it's not cheap. Just to get in on Saturday, it was $40. It was quite pricey, and it was part of the reason that I really didn't make as much money as I wanted to on Saturday, considering how many winners I had. Because I really my bankroll was kind of diminished based on the $10 parking and the $40
no kidding
entry fee just to walk in the door. So like I said, and what's funny is I've already registered with Breeders' Cup, and I'm going to be on the email list whenever tickets go on sale. I'm buying tickets for both days, and I'm sure you guys will want to be there, so I will buy 3 tickets for all 3 days. I wish it were 3 days for both days, and we'll make sure we're in attendance next year.
Awesome.
Absolutely. This is my plan. Fly Wednesday night, Thursday beach, Friday, Saturday, horse racing.
There you go.
Right, we've got some
that's right.
in our pick 4 selection.
Whoa!
We're way over the list.
Spend some money.
Oh my goodness!
20 cents
Wow.
to 4. There you go.
Woo! Yeah, no, yeah, no. This is not Woodbine, obviously.
Another 25, 100, 500. Ooh.
Okay, so I will start with. I will say I see the 11 is on all. We'll start there. Is that the 11 is on all three of our tickets. So we do have the 11 on Ray's ticket, on Rich's ticket, and on Joe's ticket, and it's on the top line on all three of ours. And then I didn't have anybody else. I only put the 11 on my top line. I had the 10 on my secondary line. Joe, you had the 10 on your secondary line. Yeah. And then you've got the 5, the 8, the 11, and the 2, and it's between the two of you. Yeah, so Ray, you had the 5, the 8, and the. Well, you had the 5 and the 8, and Joe, you've got the
2. Gee, wow. Oh boy. Let me see.
I can take the 3 out of here because the 3 is on the secondary line.
Okay, well.
Interesting. Yeah,
four deep's not so bad. I mean, I'm.
All right. Well, we can go to the next race then if you want.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, let's.
So in the next race, let's see. We've got the. Let's see. Joe and Ray, you guys both have the 3. So the 3 should be in here, no matter what.
We all had the 1.
And the 1 is in there. Yep.
But that's where we draw the line. we all had different horse. We all had a different third horse.
5, the 7, and the 10.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I can pull the 10 off of here. That was mine. And you guys have the 5 and the 7 then.
Okay.
And so our next race here, which is the 8th race. And in the 8th race, it looks like we've all got the 3. So the 3 should be in here.
Yep.
And let's see. The 3 is the only one we have a consensus on. 3 was the only one that I've got. I've got the 6. Ray, you've got the 6, and you've also got the 2 and the 6. Right. And Joe, you've got the 3.
Yeah, I had the 3 and the 10. The 10 was my was my under horse. Again, if we wanted to eliminate the 10, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't kill me. But then, I mean, I'd like to keep them on the ticket, but I can see we're obviously going to need to pair something. So.
Yeah, like I said, the 3 is on all 3 of our tickets. It's the 2 and the 6 for Ray, and you got the 10. So, and then in the last race here, let's see, we've got the 6 on all 3 of our tickets. So that works. The 6 is there, and the let's see, I see the 7 on Joe. You got on the top line.
Mm-hmm.
Ray had it underneath. I think the 7 was underneath.
Yes, sir.
And I had the 7 underneath. So that.
Like in 20 claimers, Rich, I always rather lean to your opinion because those are your kind. Those are the guys. Those are the kind that you like.
Yeah, and unfortunately that was a hell of a sequence that they hit us with today. So that was a tough one. I said I like the sequence. It's paring it down is what's difficult. Yeah. They said it's we need the Woodbine combos.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, I like the sequence, and I think to be honest, even if the 4 favorites win, I would think this will pay at least $250.
Oh yeah. All right,
they're all lukewarm favorites. So
I can pull the 12 off in that finale for mine because that was the other horse that I have. I've got the 6 in there, and then that leaves the 10 and the 11, and those were on race tickets. So that looks like that. So it's
4, 4, 4, 4. 16. What's that?
Yeah, we're not going to completely caveman this way either. So let's see. On the top line, we got 4 times 2 so far.
4 by 2 by 3 by 2.
That's still pretty big.
And it's $24. It's not that big.
Oh, okay.
If it's just the top line.
Yeah, if we just took in the top line.
Yeah,
that's at least-
2.5. Yeah, 4 by 2 is 8 by 3 is 24 by 2 is 48. So $24. That's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
That looks good to me. I think we could probably stick with that.
Yeah, I can stick with that. I can stomach that. A lot better than the $300 one that we started with.
Yeah. Okay, I'm writing them all down. 2, 5, 8, 11 with 1, 3 with 2, 3, 6 with 6, 7 for $24. Awesome.
All right. And for those of you who have ever wondered, that's exactly how we do it.
Yeah.
Have you got it? You've got it, Joe?
Yes, I do.
All right. I am coming back.
Since we have a couple minutes to kill, has anybody looked to see the schedule for next week to see what, if any, track we're going to be handicapping? Or
I did not. Let's take a quick peek. Hang on one second.
Yeah, I haven't either, but if anybody, I don't know if there's, I don't, because Del Mar doesn't do any, and I don't think Aqueduct does any kind of like New York Stakes or Oak Tree used to do a Cal Cup, but I don't know. I'm not sure what's available.
I see Laurel is apparently.
Oh, you know what? That's right.
Yeah,
I think I did see that.
Mart Halo. I see the Safely Kept. I see the James F. Lewis. I see the City of Laurel. I see the Richard Small.
Yeah, Laurel. The stake races. Yeah.
And I do know that Laurel has yet to get onto our show ticket. Joe, I know that you had mentioned Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds apparently has two as well. They have the Happy Ticket Stakes and the Mr. Sulu.
Okay, the Mr. Sulu is Mr. Sulu 5.5 or 7.5 on the grass?
Let's see here. That is
1 mile. About
1 mile. 1 mile of the turf.
Oh, it's 1 mile. Okay. Because I could do either or. I wouldn't mind trying Laurel for once, and then going
Laurel,
with.
They look like they're loaded. Actually, they've actually got a grade 3.
Yeah.
The Frank J. DeFrancis State or Dash, so grade 3.
Oh, it's the DeFrancis. Oh, okay. Yeah, you might get some decent sprinters out there for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. I like I said. I
was just asking my coworker this week. I was just asking him, "Where's Saludos Amigos? We might see him."
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, it's very possible he could show up there. That would not surprise me.
And for those who have ever wondered how exactly it is that the three broke guys pick their tracks, well, there you go.
Yeah, usually we just look at the stake schedule and we figure it out. This week we probably could have done Aqueduct where they're running the Red Smith and the Discovery tomorrow, but that's okay. We decided to stay close to home.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week when we get together to take a look at another exciting card. As you heard, it's going to be Laurel. It's going to be Laurel Racetrack in, I believe that's right outside of Baltimore, Maryland, correct, Joe?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Always.
Yeah, and we missed you, Rich. I like I said, I missed both you guys at Breeders' Cup last year, but this year, but we'll remedy that next year.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. So, all right, for Joe English and for Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Good night.
Good night.